Today we're going to be reviewing Escape the Dark Castle from Themeborn, right after this. Hey everyone, Sam here from the Tabletop Hub, your one-stop shop for all things tabletop, and today, as mentioned, we are reviewing Escape the Dark Castle from Themeborn. But before we jump into that, if you are new here to the channel, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to check out one of my videos. If you end up liking what you see here, do feel free to subscribe to be kept up to date of when new videos go live. So, what is Escape the Dark Castle? Well, the premise for the game is that you and your fellow players take on the role of prisoners on a quest to escape from the dungeons of the castle. You'll travel from room to room, working together to defeat enemies and survive the horrors that you face on the way. The game itself takes about 2 minutes to set up, it can last about 30 minutes, and it is perfect for newcomers to tabletop gaming. It really is a game for everyone. I played the game actually with my wife and my 60-year-old dad, who wasn't so sure about it at first glance because it looked a bit too nerdy. Fast forward 10 minutes and he was screaming through gritted teeth as we were brutally murdered by the final boss. A scream that was very swiftly followed with, "Can we play again?" And that's what you'll find with Escape the Dark Castle. It's addictive, it's fun, and it's incredibly punishing. So, let's talk gameplay. At the start of the game, each player chooses which character they'll play as. There are no fantastical heroes in this game, no muscly knights astride a noble steed. Instead, you'll be playing the cook, or the smith, or the tanner. People who are really quite unremarkable. Kind of like you, Sam, I hear you remark. So each character has stats etched into the wall behind them consisting of might, wisdom, and cunning, and this equally correlates to that character's dice, which we'll talk about later. On your first game, you'll find yourself choosing the character who you think looks the coolest or whose beard looks like a pair of drippy testicles, for example. But once you understand how brutal this game is, you'll forego appearances and instead try and find a balance between the differing stats of the characters to make sure each ability is well represented. It's kind of like swapping from a Tinder mindset to an eHarmony one. Once you've chosen your character, the adventure begins and you start working your way through the castle deck, facing off against a number of varied challenges as you do so. Sometimes you'll be asked to make a decision, other times you'll have no choice but to fight. When you do need to fight, you'll find that your enemies have symbols on the bottom of their card correlating to what you and your fellow prisoners need to roll to defeat them. You remove any dice that match what the players rolled, but if the enemy has any black dice remaining, they're not dead and will attack any player who hasn't managed to roll a shield and block. To make matters worse, if any one player's health reaches 0, it's game over for everyone. If, however, you manage to fight your way through the castle, picking up loot and mouldy bread along the way, you'll face off against one of the bosses who will be the only thing standing against you and freedom, and trust me, they are tough. Escape the Dark Castle has a lot in common with cult game show Takeshi's Castle. Everyone plays to have a good time, but by the end, you're battered, bruised, and if you do manage to get to the final stage, you realise that the only real winner here is the game itself, which only adds to the momentous feeling of achievement whenever you do manage to beat the boss and make it out of the castle alive. I've played quite a few games of Escape the Dark Castle already, and I have to say I couldn't recommend it enough. It is quick, it's super fun, it has a great deal of replayability, and it has a great style to it. To top it all off, you can play the whole game solo too. If you love things like D&D, Hero Quest, Warhammer Quest, or even Stranger Things on Netflix, I think you'll fall in love with this. The folks at Themeborn equally just released 3 narrative expansions for the game too, adding new characters, new castle cards, and new bosses to fight against. If you want to pick up the game for yourself, I'll leave a link down in the video description where you can find it on Themeborn's site. But that is it for today's video. If you have enjoyed it, feel free to subscribe for future content, but until next time, have a great week, and I will of course speak to you all soon.